Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Coe Show. My name is Mason Coe. Here, as always, sitting across from me, my co-host Aaron Coe.
Ah,
And today is Thursday, November 19th, coming at you a day late because last night the NBA draft took place. Kind of snuck up, honestly. It was obviously announced it would be this day a while ago, but out of nowhere, it felt like it kind of just came up. And yeah, I mean, overall, not too exciting of a draft, I'd say. Not a ton of surprises. You got the Bulls reaching up at 4. You got a couple trades, but I would say kind of a very low key night compared to what I was anticipating.
I have two things to say.
Hmm.
Fuck the NBA and fuck Howard Schultz.
Yeah, fuck Howard Schultz for sure. Um,
What else you got?
I got LaMelo getting drafted to the Hornets, which is kind of interesting, especially given LeVar Ball's history with talking shit about Michael Jordan. Just a lot of potential things there, but
Yeah.
uh, you know, yeah, I think overall it was a pretty solid night as far as teams not making crazy decisions. The Bulls definitely did reach. Not saying that Patrick Williams won't be a great player, but it's one of those things. We said it with the Seahawks pick, first round pick this year too. Could have traded down, could have got him later or whatever.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, I
I
guess
think it was hard to trade down this year. Even the number one pick, I don't know that anybody really wanted that number one pick because there wasn't a sure guy
yeah,
there. So last year you desperately wanted it.
yeah,
Many years you desperately want it. When there's not a consensus guy at the top, it's not, it's almost like you'd rather not have it and you'd rather just pick third. And
mm-hmm.
then if the guy doesn't pan out, you have an excuse and also you're paying him less. But yeah, it seems like there wasn't, any real top tier talent up there. Maybe there's some depth to this draft. It was good to see. Where did oh gosh, now I'm gonna blank on their names.
Isaiah Stewart.
Isaiah Stewart. Where did he go
Isaiah
again?
Stewart.
Denver?
Yeah, no, Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought he was going to. One thing that they got to fix on the damn draft is they make trades before the draft, but they aren't really trades yet.
they can't be finalized.
They can't be announced, basically. So Portland technically drafts Isaiah Stewart, and they have the Portland logo up there, and all that kind of stuff. But then they're talking about Detroit, and I'm only half watching this draft because again, fuck Howard Schultz. But I think it's like just figure that, like, change that. Like the
Yeah.
NFL, they don't do it that way. The NFL is stupid sometimes, but they don't have a guy come. When you could do things in person, they didn't have a guy very often come out and wear another hat and then be like, oh, he's actually going somewhere. It's just stupid.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
confusing when you're watching it, especially if you're not a big fan. You're like, wait, where's he going? And there's all these, and they have to kind of explain, and I just put the right fucking graphic up there.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
At the
weird.
very least, they should allow the coverage to just put up the right
Yeah.
graphic. Like at the very least.
Yeah,
But
it's just very bizarre. So I was glad. I was glad to see Isaiah Stewart, go in the middle of the first round there. What was he, number 16?
16, I believe.
That's cool. I think before the UW season, he was maybe projected a little lower than that, and Jaden McDaniels had him as a lottery pick, or even a top 6 pick, something like that. I think Isaiah Stewart will be I think he'll have a really solid career. He's not going to be the top guy, but he will be a guy that gets you, plays 25, 30 minutes, gets you 10 and 8, plays good defense, plays hard, plays with heart. As far as Jaden McDaniels go, I don't know. Different description of him. He's very, very talented. He has a beautiful looking jump shot that doesn't seem to go in all that often. He was one that I watched at the beginning of the UW season. I was really excited about him. For one, he's a local kid. For one, Isaiah Stewart's from New York, but Jaden McDaniels is from Federal Way, where I grew up. And so I was, rooting for the guy, obviously. But the first few games, I'm like, God, he looks like a kind of a crybaby and a powder and horrible body language, inconsistent effort. And I thought, he's probably just feeling a lot of pressure. Everybody says he's going to be a top pick. And he's just feeling that pressure, and that's getting to him. But no, I think that's just who he is. So, hey, I hope he figures it out. I hope he turns his attitude around.
Yeah.
But he goes to Minnesota, which is where NBA players go to die quite often. And yeah, I don't know if he's in the league in 5 years. I'll be a little surprised.
Yeah, and he was a part of a trade that included the Lakers receiving Dennis Schroeder. So the Lakers technically drafted Jaden McDaniels,
right?
But the Lakers gave up Danny Green and eventually would become the draft rights to Jaden McDaniels, receiving Dennis Schroeder, Sixth Man of the Year, runner-up last year, and essentially, he started in Atlanta when they were terrible. And had a great season, but other than that, when he's coming off the bench, he's a perennial Sixth Man of the Year candidate. Great catch and shoot player. Danny Green is known for his catch and shoot ability.
Really?
Yeah, but honestly, at this point, Dennis Schroeder, I would say, is better at that even, and also he can put the ball on the floor and create his own buckets, get other guys involved too. So I think this is just a great pickup by the Lakers. No need for Jaden McDaniels for them. So
no, I mean he's wrong in every aspect of it. And
yeah,
if Jaden McDaniels becomes a good NBA player, it's not gonna be this year. It'll be 2 or 3 years down the road. He's gonna have to develop.
Yeah.
Despite great talent, and he's skilled in many ways, he can handle it. He can, in theory, defend multiple positions, but he's not what the Lakers need now. They need a guy who can contribute right now. So,
and yeah, Schroeder is exactly. I mean, he fits the mold perfectly.
I saw a lot of trades for what will likely be low first round picks. I mean, you never know for sure how all those turn out. And if I'm an NBA GM, I don't want any of those picks. I don't like those picks.
Yeah.
Like I want top end talent. Or I would rather, what are there, 30 teams? Yeah. I would rather pick number 31 overall than number 28 overall, because when you pick in the first round, you have to guarantee that contract.
Mm-hmm.
If you pick number 31, you can cut the guy.
And either are just as much of a shot in the dark as far as
it is.
wise.
You never. So. I mean, what's the difference between 28 and 31? No one knows.
Yeah.
Usually the first couple players are obviously more talented, although they bust as well quite often. But yeah, I saw a lot of teams trading for those low first round picks, and not that it's bad to have more picks, but those aren't the picks that you really want necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
You want middle first round and up, or top of the second round are preferable.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
for sure. And then Danny Green, shortly after joining the Thunder, gets moved straight to the Sixers. Sixers find a way to get off that shitty Al Horford contract, only giving up a first and a second round to get rid of it too. So the Thunder move up to 17 first-round draft picks through the year 2026 or 2025.
How many players are on a roster?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. No, you made a great point. They will not be able to keep all of their first-round picks just on their roster.
The commissioner's going to go up there and be like, you guys can't pick.
Yeah.
You have too many players.
Yeah.
We're skipping you in the draft.
But Sixers get off of that terrible contract. What's interesting to me is that the Thunder take on this terrible contract that is 3 more years, and I know their championship window isn't necessarily within the next 3 years, but why are you taking that contract for a late first round pick?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think they're obviously acquiring draft picks and looking at maybe making a run a few years from now. You're probably not going to have salary cap issues because you have no one making a lot of money. So, taking on that contract isn't that big a deal. But again, so if the Sixers, are a contender and they're picking at the end of the draft, then this is a great deal for the Sixers.
Yeah.
If they have injuries, if they stumble, then it's a great deal for the Thunder. It kind of depends on how the Sixers do. Obviously, the Sixers needed to move that money out because they intend. It looks like they should be a contender for the next few years, although they can't seem to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And they still don't have anyone outside of Ben Simmons that can dribble a basketball. Literally, no one can dribble it at all. They they don't know what to do.
They hold it and they're like,
But so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. It seems like an awful trade to give up. You give up picks and you get Denny Green back, who I can't stand that guy.
You're done with him.
Based on I picked him to be player of the week one time, and he was horrible all through the playoffs.
And that's it for him.
Missed a potential game-winning shot.
And,
really was a bust with the Lakers overall. It seemed like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At least inconsistent at the very, if you're going to be positive about it. So
yeah. And then the Sixers make another trade that doesn't necessarily solve the problem you were talking about, but they get just an absolute sniper, statistically the best shooter of all time in Seth Curry, and the number 36 pick for Josh Richardson. I don't know who they picked in that spot, but. Josh Richardson to the Mavericks. I really like that. It's a scorer that probably comes off the bench for them. And, Sixers need shooting. They obviously still have not addressed the ball handling issue other than Ben Simmons. But even Ben Simmons in the half court is not ideal because you just play off him. And
right.
So, they still haven't addressed that issue, but they do get a little bit better at shooting because the thing is when you have Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons on the court together, they can both handle the ball relatively well for their position. They can both take care of that. You just need a guy that can shoot the ball when you have Ben Simmons and Joel on the court together. So, although this doesn't address that ball handling issue, I think this is a great trade for the Sixers.
Well, you cannot double off of that guy. Like
no.
you gotta know where he's at all times because he's such a great shooter. So that's got to help spacing for the other guys without question.
No doubt. And then really the big trades that happened, we're pretty late on this one. Happened 3 days ago, but Chris Paul to the Suns for Kelly Oubre, Ricky Rubio. So I absolutely love this. We were talking about when we were speculating it to happen that if you're the Suns, you need to get Devin Booker in the playoffs if you want to keep him there. And Chris Paul not only probably does that for you, but also, who else do you want to mentor? Devin Booker and those other young players you got. So, and also, Chris Paul, everywhere he's gone, has just made centers money. Has made centers look like all-stars. You have a 22-year-old DeAndre Ayton. Like, he's so young still.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He's so young still. So, he's already averaging 18 and 8 or something. Yeah. So, what's Chris Paul going to do for him?
Yeah.
Like, it turn him into an all-star caliber player.
Probably.
So,
plus you figure he'll take us another step forward this year.
Yeah.
And then Chris Paul's going to get him the ball in spots, in good spots. So,
exactly. Yeah. So that trade, for the Thunder, the Thunder did move Ricky Rubio to the Wolves. There's just so many things that have happened in the last couple days that, like, this is out of date. Right. Kelly Oubre to the Thunder, he either got moved or was going to get moved. But yeah, Ricky Rubio, I did not realize that Ricky Rubio was so beloved in Minnesota.
Yeah,
that's something I didn't know.
He was it was a big deal when he went there. I remember that.
I remember that. I don't, because he was relatively a bust. I did not realize that Minnesota loved him so much.
He was, he's an exciting player to watch. He just can't shoot the ball, and it's hard to, 20 years ago, he would have been a nice point guard, but these days you do need to be able to shoot it. So it that just makes him tough to have on a really good team because
Yeah.
I mean, Ben Simmons can't shoot, but he's so elite at getting to the basket that he can kind of make up for that. But Rubio is just not. He's just a dynamic passer.
Just a
and
great
it's
facilitator.
Old school point guard.
Exactly.
And, in a game that's a lot different than it was then. So
Yeah, and when you got a guy like Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, who supposedly is going to be a great 3-level scorer, and then you also got D'Angelo Russell, who he's a point guard, but he can play off ball too, I'm pretty sure. So I think I really like that. Also, I don't see him and D'Angelo Russell being on the court together a ton. They'll probably, Ricky Rubio will be his backup. But yeah, so the Thunder are looking to trade Kelly Oubre for a first-round pick, by the way.
okay.
So they're looking to make it 18.
Yeah, just might as well make
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. By the way, I told this to you last night. I have not seen a GM in any sport bet on himself more than Sam Presti is right now.
Yeah.
Acquiring 17 first-round picks, you start out with KD and Russell Westbrook, and you get your way to Paul George and Russell Westbrook, and then to Chris Paul and this young core, and now you have a few young guys and a shit ton of picks. So he's like, 17 picks, I'll hit on 3.
Yeah.
I'll hit 3 superstars, and then that's all I need.
And then I think he also realizes that guys don't want to stay there for so
yeah.
So you're gonna end up trading those stars away when they hit the end of their contracts.
I'm
and
curious,
you got more picks stacked up to replace them, I guess.
For sure. I'm curious to see if this experiment works out. Will this be the formula for small market teams? Will it be just acquire draft capital and see what you can do with it? Because, like you said, I mean, think about all the guys that are on small market teams. They got drafted there almost every single time. Like, almost no one signs with a small market team unless you're Terry Rozier and the Hornets are offering you $60 million.
Yeah, and he's not on. I mean, I barely have heard of that guy.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
Montrezl Harrell is going to get a bag from Charlotte this year.
Right.
That's why he's going to a small market team.
Yeah.
Like, those are the guys that go to small market teams. Nicholas Batum getting $25 million a year from
insane.
So,
yeah, I think what was the tweet that you read me? You read a tweet to me, I think last night, about what if Presti decided to package these picks for.
Oh yeah. What if Presti decided to package these picks for Harden, Westbrook, and Kevin Durant? Imagine those 3 on the same team together. Yeah.
And yes, they were at one
course.
time on the same team together and didn't get anywhere. So,
No.
fuck the Thunder.
Yeah. So, fuck the Thunder. Robert Covington going to the Blazers, which makes it feel like the Rockets really are about to blow everything up because I believe they just got a pick for him, and he's a guy. This is a guy you add to a championship team. Robert Covington. He's like a perfect role player to a championship team. He was there. We say the player of the week is the MVP in their role. We don't say he's like the best player that week. Robert Covington is almost always the MVP in his role and was in the playoffs as well. He kind of like he was the electric tape that was keeping the Rockets together there.
I was impressed with him. I think he's going to make a big difference on the Blazers.
For sure. It's a great pickup for them. And then obviously the big one, Drew Holiday to the Bucks for George Hill, Eric Bledsoe, 3 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps. So here's the thing. And by the way, we'll get to this Bogdanovich trade that is not actually going through for the time being, at least. But for now, Drew Holiday to the Bucks. What this means is if somehow... So, by the way, Drew Holiday could walk after next year.
Oh, wow.
So...
Oh, they could lose both those guys.
If they lose Drew Holiday and they don't... And Giannis finds himself being... what's the word I'm looking for? He's not happy.
Yeah.
That's not the word, but he's not happy. If Giannis somehow, some way leaves the Bucks, this is potentially worse than the Nets situation when they traded for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce.
Yeah, I mean, you first of all, Drew Holiday, that great pickup.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
that's
this is
like they're gonna contend this year. I mean, they
yeah
should have last year too.
yeah
But I think he makes a big difference on that team. One
no
of the
doubt.
best defensive guards in the league, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to help. And then I think that was a hole on their team last year was having a player like him. But yeah, I mean if you lose both those players and then you've also given up all your picks, then so you suck, and the picks are a lot more valuable than they were.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a disaster. So this is an all in,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's the right move because if you're a market like Milwaukee, you need to show that you can be a destination type place. So why not? I mean, this is one of the things where I struggle with the NBA. I've said it before. You love the soap opera. You love this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, look, where's he gonna go? Ooh, I heard he's gonna go here. Oh my God. It is interesting. I get into that a little bit too, but what I struggle with, the thing that I like about the NFL is it feels like any NFL team can win.
Yeah.
And there are places that can't, but it's because their ownership is bad. Just like the Mariners can't win because their ownership has been bad. But Green Bay can win championships.
Mm-hmm.
Who else I'm trying to think of other teams that even Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's not a huge city.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of places where you can win any city if you are smart and put together a good roster. You can win. It's not all about the market. Yeah, Kansas City. So the NBA, it feels a lot more like there are just certain destinations, and the players have so much control about where they go, which good for them. But as a fan, I don't necessarily like that, especially if I'm losing. If I'm Cleveland, now Cleveland is an inept owner too.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
We don't need to get into that, but. If you're Cleveland and you have LeBron and he can just control where he goes, that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
So it sucks for the fans, and then it sucks that the Lakers just can go point to whoever they want and go get him. It feels like, I know that's not true, but I think we want AD. Let's go. Let's get the best big man in the game.
Yeah.
Let's just I think we want him. Let's just go get him. You can't do that in the NFL. So anyway, that's one of the things that I struggle with. But I'd love to see the Bucks pan out. It was good to see Toronto, even though it was short-lived. Mm-hmm. It was good to see them do something. I want to see teams like that. I want every city that at least is trying to win have a chance to win. Some of them just flat out can't.
No.
So if you're Oklahoma City, and fuck Oklahoma City, by the way.
Them.
But they can't. They're not a destination.
No.
They drafted players and they all left. So they if you're Sam Presti, okay, I'm just gonna load up on picks, and if they go, they go. I've got more coming in. So anyway, I would love to see the Bucks pan out just for the reason of just somebody else. Let's have somebody else instead of the Celtics and the Lakers, and I don't know how the fuck the Knicks can't win.
Yeah,
again,
seriously.
that's ownership.
Yeah.
How the hell they've blown it for 50 years, I have no idea in that market where every player would want to play if they had a good owner and a good GM.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody would want, that would be the destination.
Yeah.
LeBron would be in New York City right now if they had a better owner. No question.
Yeah, for sure. You want to look at ineptitude. I think the Knicks are the definition of it.
Yeah.
So moving forward, we also got this Bogdanovich trade. So the Kings, speaking of ineptitude, the Kings, they decided that they were going to go through with the sign and trade deal with the Bucks, where they get DiVincenzo, DJ Wilson, and Ersan Ilyasova, I believe. Maybe someone else is in there too. They get those three guys, give up Bogey. The only problem is Bogey did not agree to any of this.
Right.
He just they didn't ask him if he wanted to do this sign and trade deal. So I don't know how much of this was Bogey not wanting to go to Milwaukee, which would be kind of weird to me, and how much of this is him being like, well, fuck you. Like, I didn't say I wanted to do this. I
Yeah.
could see myself kind of doing that. So,
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. This is the guy that was in John Wick, right? Is that him
no,
or is
no,
that
no, no.
somebody
That's
else?
Boban
Oh
Marjanovic.
fuck, I can't keep it all straight. Whatever. Then I don't care about this guy at all.
Boban is a giant. Bogdan Bogdanovic is a sniper from three.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just tune in here for your NBA analysis. I've got everything you guys want to know.
Yeah.
Well, damn. I don't care because it's not the John Wick guy.
Yeah, seriously.
But this is what I mean about the players having a lot of control.
Yeah.
Like again, hey, if I'm a player, good, that's good. But as a fan, you don't necessarily want it to be like that.
Yeah. So what I don't know is what guys like DiVincenzo will be thinking when they just thought they got packaged for this Bogdanovich guy.
Yeah.
It just tells you where they think your value kind of is, and I think that they, a guy like DiVincenzo, DJ Wilson, or Sonny Leasova, that's a lot to give up for this guy. I mean, DiVincenzo is a great young player, so I don't know what this means for the locker room in either instance. All I know is that Bogey is probably not going to be there come the December 22nd. I'm guessing there will still be a sign and trade, and I wouldn't be surprised if it still went through to the Bucks, but for the time being, it seems like just the Kings' lack of care for their players is going to cause this to fall through and potentially cause problems in both locker rooms.
Yeah.
I mean, who really knows? But
well, if I were him, like, wouldn't you want to go to the Bucks? Like,
yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want to be in Sacramento.
I mean, everybody assumes they're going to win the East now.
Yeah.
So, and Sacramento is terrible. It's also a really shitty city, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
Milwaukee, maybe not be my first choice to live, but Sacramento, yeah, that place is nasty. I hate that.
Yeah, it sucks
I don't
ass.
like that city.
Sucks ass. Yeah, so I mean that's what makes me feel like it could just be well, no, fuck you. You didn't even ask me. That's what makes me feel like it could be one of those situations,
right.
Just because why wouldn't you want to go to Milwaukee?
Yeah.
When you're already in Sacramento, so it's yeah, I don't know, but that'll be interesting to see how that develops. There'll probably be trades that drop the second we turn off this recording.
Oh yeah, it's gotta happen.
That's how it goes. So yeah, I think that's it for the trades. I think we kind of covered everything there. So I guess let's move forward from the NBA.
Yay!
Yeah, move forward from the NBA.
I'll be back when the Sonics are back. Then I'll talk more NBA.
Yeah, all right.
Fucking Howard Schultz.
Yeah, fuck Howard Schultz. So I guess let's talk about the NFL a little bit. Drew Brees broke his ribs and collapsed his lung, but Jameis Winston came in and looked solid, I guess. So it's
yeah. I mean, it was a pretty close game, and then I didn't pay attention to that game to be honest with you, but I was like, oh whoa, they really pulled away when Jameis came in, so he must not have throwing touchdowns to the other team like he did last year. So
yeah. Oh, by the way, my lock of the week, not good. I had the over on the Seahawks game.
Oh yeah.
But my player of the week, TJ Watt, got 2 sacks.
Nice. Yeah, you called that one.
He got 2 sacks, and then he also had a tackle for loss or 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that, but
good work.
I'm just gonna look through the scores here. Browns 10, Texans 7. The Browns have played in some of the worst games in NFL history the last few weeks. Lions win on a Matt Prater walk-off. Matt Prater's kind of struggled, so it's good to see him get back to his form. By the way, I'm pretty sure he's like 100% on game-winning field goals.
Wow.
So he's got the clutch gene for sure. Let's see, what else we got? Eagles suck dick. Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater.
There was a clip. So Peterson, the Eagles coach. So a lot of coaches, they do a weekly radio show.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pete Carroll does one with 710 here in town. Like it's part of their contract. So they don't. they have to do it, and they don't always like to do it. But so the radio station's going, and it's like, oh, let's update that poll. Whose fault was the Eagles' loss? 78% say Peterson. And coach is on the air with us now.
Oh.
And he's like, yeah, thanks for the intro.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, this town,
Tough.
that city hates Santa Claus. They booed Santa Claus, so
Threw batteries at him.
Got to be ugly. Got to be ugly there now.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. All right.
Anyway, I just thought that was funny.
Yeah. No, that is. Moving forward, Dolphins moving to 6-3. Tua is 3-0.
What the hell?
I don't know. They did play the Chargers, who I can't tell if they're a terrible football team or they should have a better record. I really don't know at this point.
Herbert puts up the numbers and then they just lose the game.
He's James Harden, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So obviously y'all saw the Bills-Cardinals game, or at least the play in that game. DeAndre Hopkins. Did you see the picture of the gloves?
Yeah.
How it was like the Jordan glove and then the Adidas and the Nike gloves right below it. Like that's a Jordan advertisement.
Oh man.
Jordan advertisement.
It's all the gloves.
Yeah, seriously. But
yeah, we might see some of that tonight, and we might see some of those gloves tonight.
Yeah,
so.
Unfortunately. Yeah, so DeAndre Hopkins, he just moved to a 99 in Madden, by the way. Just thought I'd throw that out there. But
wow.
Yeah. So, here it is. Okay. That's a Jordan advertisement if I've ever seen one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, but great play by Hop.
Yeah.
Wish he wasn't on the fucking Cardinals.
Yeah.
Fuck Bill O'Brien. He's in my Jimmy bucket. Bill O'Brien's officially in the Jimmy bucket.
For sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, Saints, we already talked about that, kind of. They, shout out to them beating the 49ers. And then the Patriots beating the Ravens.
Yeah, that was surprising because they just lost to – well, they barely beat the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
They barely beat the Jets.
And then they go out, and the Ravens are supposedly a Super Bowl contender. Some people even had them ahead of the Chiefs, going into the season. And then the hapless Patriots go out and beat them. I think – and I've said it. I think Lamar Jackson has been figured out. I mean, he's still a problem, but he's not putting up the video game numbers like he did last year.
Lamar Jackson went on the radio and was saying that defense was calling out their plays. Defenses were so. I don't know how much of it's Lamar Jackson or, Roman was with Kaepernick, wasn't he?
Yeah,
and that got figured out.
Right.
So is it his offense? I mean, it's one of those things where you point the finger, but
sometimes your offense gets figured out because your quarterback is not good at certain things.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's part of it too. So
yeah. And then also, I mean, when you got Bill Belichick game planning, he's always gonna have something. So, the Patriots have had a good defense all year already, and then when you got Bill Belichick. He played against him last year. Already saw Lamar Jackson, so I wouldn't be surprised if Bill had something for him, but that other teams necessarily haven't pulled out yet. But I don't know. Again, not an X's and O's guy. So yeah. All right, moving to I guess away from the NFL now. John Clayton got let go.
You're still in the NFL if you're talking about John Clayton.
Well, yeah, no, I'm still in the NFL, but away from the games.
So I'm okay. There's a couple of things going on here. So first of all, just a little history. John Clayton's one of the reasons I became a sports writer. So he was a news tribune. There's a time, so when newspapers were still big. The News Tribune sports page was the place to go.
Yeah.
It was better than the Seattle Times. It was better than the PI. They had great reporters there. Now they ended up losing them because they couldn't pay them. But there's a bunch of guys still out there. Clayton. I'm blanking on the names now, but there were reporters that you see on ESPN that started with the TNT. So, Clayton, he's a good man, first of all. He was, I guess the Schefter before Schefter. He's done local radio around here forever. Was one of the ESPN reporters, and they laid him off. And then the ESPN just laid off another 200 people recently. And let me tell you, they're not laying off all the pretty people.
Yeah.
Right? So John Clayton, not
Mm-hmm.
not a handsome dude.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably on YouTube find his ESPN advertisement where he's in his mom's basement or whatever.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So look that up if you've never seen that before. But ESPN is keeping all the faces. But yeah, so then Clayton got a deal with the local radio station here, 710, which 710 had some promise if you're a sports radio person, but I think 950 is way ahead of them personally anymore. They've let some of their people go. But yeah, they let Clayton go. And I don't think Clayton was a great radio personality, but 710 is having some trouble because of the COVID stuff. I hate to see it. In my opinion, he's an icon. Especially locally.
For sure, yeah. I'm not big into, I don't know a ton of reporters. I don't know almost any radio personalities, and I 100% know who he is. So, that just tells you.
I think we've gotten to the point in society, I don't want to go on too big of a rant here.
Yeah.
Like, this could take hours, as you know. But, like, if you're not pretty, and I mean male or female, I'm not just talking about female, so don't give me any of that crap. Like, if you're not a pretty man or a pretty woman, harder to get a gig. That's always been the case. Or you need to have a big, ridiculous opinion every time you talk.
Skip Bayless looks like a fucking gremlin. But...
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know that Stephen A. is the prettiest guy in the world either. So you have to have ridiculous opinions, and nobody comes back and lists how many times they were wrong. They point out when they were right, when they hit 1 out of 10. They take wild swings, right? They take wild swings and they hit it out of the park 1 out of every 10 times, and they strike out the other 9. And we just all let it go. But it's all on us as viewers. We're the ones watching it, so they give us what we want.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it really, when I saw that with Clayton on a local radio station, it just really hit a nerve with me.
Yeah.
So he still has gigs, like he's still appearing on some radio shows. I mean, he'll keep plenty busy. He's not a young man, so he probably doesn't need to work every day. But I just think the guy is one of the best reporters that there's ever been. He is in the Hall of Fame.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean he's amazing, and I wish him well. And at 710, come on, fine. You have a couple other people on that station that are offer nothing. They also got rid of the big Coug, Jim Moore.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I actually didn't mind him. I don't think.
Yeah, he's pretty good on the radio. He drove me nuts with his Coug stuff. But when he was a reporter, a columnist with the PI, that was a must read for me when he did that before the PI had to close up shop. He was a fun writer. I liked his shtick, kind of, I'm just fucking around here, and I don't really know what I'm doing. I liked the way he did it. I just didn't characterize that very well, but I liked him on the radio. He was fine. So they got rid of people who actually can report sports. Yeah. And kept people who, I don't know, if you listen to a couple of their midday shows, I mean, come on, it's just a bunch of air. Yeah. So anyway, okay, sorry, big rant. I'll move on from that. But best of luck to John Clayton.
For sure, best of luck. And moving forward, we got Stanford quarterback costing you some money with the false positive.
This is don't bet,
especially on college football. So there's a false positive that caused the Stanford quarterback to sit out, and it sucks ass for Stanford, sucks ass for the kids, sucks ass for everyone involved. And I just hope that they can get these tests to a point where there's no false positives, because that's scary, and B, hopefully we get to a point where we can just rerun those real quick. Or
I thought that was the point of this testing, that the Pac-12 commissioner was all excited about, that he had to announce himself. I thought that was the point, to avoid these scenarios. But it just sucks for the kid and his teammates. I mean, that's the bottom line. And the fans and there's enough shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you shouldn't have to sit out of a game when it was a false positive. I mean, I feel bad. I feel bad for that kid.
Sucks ass. I guess let's update. Now's a good time to update the Pac-12 a little bit. So I'm going to pull up the standings real quick, but what I can tell you off the rip is UW is 1-0. So
we're number one.
Yeah, number one, baby. Yeah, so let's see.
It's been interesting. We've had some cancellations. I will say I was shocked. So last week on, I don't know when it was, Wednesday or Thursday, we find out that Arizona State can't play because a bunch of their team has it, including Herm Edwards. I hope they're all doing well.
Yep.
Sounds like they're coming along. And I believe Utah couldn't play because they have some issues. So that left Cal, who already had their game canceled because they had one positive. I don't want to go down that road again, but they should have been able to play UW that week.
Yeah.
That left Cal and UCLA without a game, and they actually Pac-12 pulled their shit together and had them play Sunday morning before the NFL got going. I was surprised that they were that quick on their feet, but that's the way we got to do it.
Yeah.
Right? That's the way we got to do it. And they just approved that you can play non-conference. So let's say on Wednesday you find out your opponent can't play, you could call around and see who wants to play.
That's awesome.
There's some testing scenarios that they have to figure out with that. But that's the way it is. Like, just fucking play somebody.
Seriously.
Last Saturday, going into the game, I'm like, they're just not, UW's not going to get to play. Something's going to go wrong. Like, it's just, I didn't believe it until I saw foot hit ball to start the game. And all along, I'm like, this may be the only game I get to watch this year of UW football. And I still don't know. It could be. They might finish the season 1-0. I don't know. But I thought it was great. Shocking that UCLA destroyed Cal in that game. Obviously both of those teams weren't even supposed to play each other at all this year. So normally in an off season, you obviously, take it 1 week at a time. But in the off season, you are gathering shit for all of your opponents. So you look at your schedule and you have staff put together film for all the teams you're going to play, and you have it kind of ready to go. You don't just wake up on Sunday and say, "Oh, we're playing Arizona this week. I guess we better figure them out."
Yeah.
They have stuff already. So it's not as big a deal if they're on your schedule. But if they're not on your schedule, then you really have no fucking idea.
Right.
Like, both teams go into it blind. But I thought Cal supposedly having the defense would be at an advantage, because you would think your defense is the one that doesn't need as much prep. Just if you have the superior athletes. But UCLA, who's been terrible, just took Cal apart. So I don't know if some of that's UCLA had already played a game and Cal hadn't. We talked about that before. Most people believe that you make your biggest improvement from game 1 to game 2. So if you haven't played and the other team has, that's an advantage to the team that has played. So that was interesting. Wazoo cooked it in the first half instead of the second half. They got 3 turnovers and had a pretty big lead, but ended up losing 43-29. Colorado, are they legit? I don't know, but they've won 2 games now. Kind of surprising. And they beat Stanford. I think Stanford is on the decline.
Stanford's 0-2, so it's...
Yeah, they had a little bit of a tough year last year. I think this hasn't been talked about a lot, but I think the new signing deadline has hurt Stanford, because you can sign earlier, but Stanford doesn't accept you earlier.
Oh yeah.
So if you're gonna sign with Stanford, you better be sure that you're getting accepted there.
Yeah.
I think that's hurt Stanford.
That makes sense.
USC, huge fraud, 2-0, barely slipped by what I hope is a bad Arizona team.
Yeah.
They play UW this week. And then USC barely beat. Who did they play before? I don't remember. But they've pulled out games at the very end against teams they should not be playing close games with.
ASU and Arizona.
Right. And now, if this game gets played, they're going to have Utah. Utah hasn't played a game yet, I don't think.
No, they haven't.
So USC's played 2 games. Now, normally, I would say Utah's going to thump USC. I hope that happens, but USC has a huge advantage having played 2 football games. So they may get another they may be 3-0 and be the biggest frauds in the country. They're ranked number 20 now.
It's insane.
They beat Utah, they'll probably move up. So I don't know, and then, as far as this upcoming week goes, Arizona at Washington, 5:00 on Saturday. We'll see. This has been so unpredictable. As far as college football goes this year, there's been a lot of upsets. So that'll be fun to watch. Hopefully they'll get the game in. And we'll just see where it all goes. But that's about it.
Yeah. All right. And we have a little bit of MLB news. First female general manager to lead a Major League Baseball team, or any professional sports team for that matter.
First Asian baseball GM too.
Yeah.
I think I heard that.
I think that's the case too. Yeah. Yes. So shout out to Kim Ang. I believe that's pronounced Ang. I mean, it's great. And
she'll probably get all emotional when somebody has a bad game and trade them. Like they always say about a winning president. Is going to push the button.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's asinine.
Hope her period doesn't line up with the trade deadline. Oh my god.
Oh, we just got canceled.
It's a joke.
It's
a comedy joke.
It's a joke.
It's a funny haha.
Yeah.
Of course, I imagine she's perfectly. I mean, she's been deep within baseball. For a long
she's been
time.
talked about for a long time.
Yeah.
She was a candidate with the Mariners. I know. At one
I didn't
point
even know that.
when DePoto got hired, and who knows, maybe she would have won something. Unlike DePoto. DePoto has things going in the right direction, but they haven't won shit yet. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wish her I wish her well. I think there's a lot of pressure on her because
for sure, yeah.
She basically, if people are stupid, rich white owners are stupid.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't go well, then it may does
I don't
another
want
woman
people
get
to
a
be
chance.
able to say, "See."
Yeah.
Like,
by the
that's
way,
what I
so
don't
Derek
want.
Jeter runs that organization, right?
He's like.
So if he fires her, does he send her out with like a gift basket?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
How does that work?
Oh my God! No, he's married, so it's
Yeah, but just a nice gesture when you send someone out the door to give them a gift basket. I just think that's how you do it. That's how a gentleman does it.
For sure, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, you can learn from these things.
Oh,
so yeah, no, seriously though, I wish her well because there's no reason she can't do it. She's, from what I understand, performed well at the jobs that she's done. Was very deserving of the opportunity. Again, just a lot riding on her shoulders.
Yeah.
You're going to see more women. We've seen some assistant coaches in the NFL.
Even refs and stuff. I mean, it's been slowly kind of picking up. So
yeah. So why not? Because you know what? There are a lot of stupid fucking GMs and a lot of stupid refs.
Yeah.
So if we could add a whole nother segment of the population, I'm all for it because it can't get worse.
Yeah. No. I just hope that. I hope that she's good so it doesn't allow people to say, see, like, look.
Yeah, I know. Because
that could very well happen. But if she kills it, then, that helps open the door for a lot of other women and a lot of other Asian Americans or just Asians in general. So, yeah.
Yeah, any just non-white dudes.
Yeah, pretty
you know?
much. Yeah. I mean, she's kind of representing it right now.
Yeah.
So shout out to her and best of luck. Also, you're taking on the Marlins. I mean,
Yeah, it's rough.
it's tough, but yeah. All right. So right here it just says Wichita State situation. I don't even know what that refers to.
Let me get into my
Okay.
notes here. So, their head coach. Bear with me for a second here. Maybe sing a song or something to keep everybody entertained.
Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man,
That's what
the
came into your head?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so their head coach, whose name I'm forgetting, something Marshall. Can you look that up real quick?
Football or basketball?
Basketball. So, has been a highly respected coach. Took them to the Final Four in 2013.
Greg Marshall.
Greg Marshall. Okay. So Greg Marshall has been there for a while. He has a 331 and 121 record at Wichita State.
Very good.
By the way, he coaches at Wichita State. You know, what do you know about Wichita other than Wichita State?
He's white.
Yeah. And do you know what state
white.
it's in?
Kansas.
Good job. You know, you could get in Kansas, you could get shit-faced, okay, and have someone carry to your car and put it in cruise control for you, and you could just make it home because it's just flat and straight.
It's straight, yeah.
Yeah, you're not. There's no other people either. You're not going to hit anybody or do any damage. So, if you've driven through Kansas, you know what I mean. You can literally fall asleep for an hour and nothing happens.
Oh my god, that's
It's amazing. So anyway, so he did a great job there. Took him to a Final Four.
Yeah.
And has been in contention. That's where my boy Freddie Van Vliet
Coach,
went.
I was just going to say, Coach Fred Van Vliet.
Yeah. But some things have come out recently. First of all, it seemed odd in the offseason. They had 4 guys transfer. One of them, Eric Stevenson, transferred to UW, actually.
Oh, okay.
And it has immediate eligibility, which
Nice.
they desperately need.
Yeah.
But some stuff came out. So he supposedly punched Shaq Morris, one of their players, a couple years ago.
Yeah. Damn, I forgot about. I saw that headline.
And other people have backed up that claim.
Mm.
He also choked an assistant coach. The assistant coach has not commented on that. That was a couple years ago. He told there's a player that they had that was Native American, told him to get back on his horse.
Awesome.
And also made some howling noises, which I'm not gonna do on the podcast.
Yeah, don't recreate. Just you can imagine.
But you know what I mean. You know, you put your
yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because I don't need that on the internet. And then again, 4 scholarship players leave in the offseason from a team that was good and
yeah, it's not like they're bad.
yeah. So he did get let go. Got I think a $6 million settlement or something like that.
All right.
Which, hey man, I'll punch somebody and choke somebody for $6 million.
Seriously, I know. I'll
But-
do that to you right now.
But it's just nuts that some of that stuff stayed under wraps for a couple years. I don't know. He was thought of as one of the best coaches in the game.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, and
Tough love.
Tough love. Yeah. But yeah, I think the tough love coaches their careers are in trouble now. There's a difference between swearing at kids and yelling at them and demeaning them versus punching them
And being racist.
Yeah,
there's definitely a difference there. So.
That being said, even the yellers are, I think, as each generation comes in, it's harder and harder.
Yeah.
For that type of coach to, because people are just more sensitive,
Mm-hmm.
and plus videos get out. That's the big one too.
Yeah.
So you could say whatever the fuck you wanted in practice, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now there might be someone taking a video
Could
of
be.
it, and it might end up on Twitter.
Could be.
So anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I saw that headline. I didn't know all the details though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know when Eric Stevenson transferred out of there, I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. He was at that's a good program. He basically what Stevenson said, this was a while ago, but he said, I lost my confidence because basically it became a thing where if you make one mistake, they pull you out. So
Oh, damn.
make a bad pass, pull you out.
Right.
Take a bad shot, pull you out. Now
Yeah.
there are times where I would do that too, but you don't do that every time.
No, because I mean, you like your kids can't play then. They won't be able to just play the game.
And there were times like you could pull somebody out. And I'm thinking of coaching baseball and softball where you pull somebody out just because you want to talk to them and encourage them.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what Stevenson was doing. I don't think he was like, "Hey, man, it's all right. Just what did you just tell me what you saw? Okay, well, yeah." I don't think it was like that. I think it was, and I won't say what I think he said, but pretty bad. And Wichita State. Where do they go from here? I mean, I don't.
It's tough. It's a tough one.
Probably not going to get. I don't think the Kentucky coach is going to leave and go there.
Yeah, Calipari. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
So anyway, that's all I got on that. Oh yes, time for the Coe Show. Clown of the week. So I'm gonna go with. I actually meant to tell you not to talk about this. We didn't talk about it. It worked out really well. Our ineptitude finally paid off for us. So my clown of the week is my man, Robbie Cano. Oh, nice. Good. Robbie Cano. Yeah. I put a picture on my Facebook page of him and your sister, my daughter, Anna. Oh, yeah. And he took a selfie with him a few years ago when he played for the Mariners. But yeah, this guy, first of all, he leaves the Yankees to go play for the Mariners, the bad Mariners team. I was excited about the signing. A lot of people hated it. I always say I don't care how about the owner's money. It's not my money. So I was excited that they had a legit player because they didn't have very many at the time. But but when he did that, he took more money to go to the Mariners. If he stays with the Yankees, maybe he's a chance to be a monument in the stadium. I mean, he would have gone down as one of their best players of all time because part of it being that he's a second baseman. Yeah. And then he's been popped for performance-enhancing drugs twice. And now he's going to have to sit out the whole season. So he's gone from monument to a little bit of a joke to, people are just going to assume he's been doing it the whole time. Yeah. I don't know if he has. I don't know. His whole career is kind of a wash. He's forfeiting $24 million this year. That's not great for him. Let me ask you this, though. If I offered you $250 million, but every time you walk down the street, people are like, what a fraud. Oh, I'm taking it. Would you take it so fast? Would you take it so fast? If I said you get $10 million and have you're a guy, a player on the MLB that nobody kind of really knows, but you have a good 8-10-year career. I'm choosing between the two. $10 million and you're just a guy that, you played in the league. That's right. From fans, fans that know a decent bit of the game. Yeah, you have to dig deep. But yeah, like, oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, you did play in the league. I remember you. Give me the $250 million. Or hands down. Or $250 million. Yeah, so I think Robbie's going to be just fine. Yeah. I think I would have trouble with people looking at me when I walk down the street and going, Jesus, I was like, God, what a fucking joke that guy was. I would have trouble with that, but I don't think he cares. If he wears a hat and a mask, if he wears like an Astros hat and a mask, no one would expect him because he never played for the Astros. That's true. Yeah, there you go. So he is the clown of the week, and come on, dude. Yeah. And I wonder though, would he have been a great player without the juice? And there are rumors that he was doing it in New York too. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But it's obviously impossible to say.
Ultimately, seems like he probably should have just stayed with the Yanks and built his legacy because, I don't know. I mean, or you could also argue the other way. Good thing he got his money while he could,
Yeah.
Whatever. Just going to restart the song real quick. Moving on to mine. Joe Judge, but also Mark Colombo got a little of the week. So there's
Boys will be boys.
boys will be boys. Conflicting reports. I'm just gonna believe this to be true because it's way better and more funny. Scoop. I'm told the New York Giants coaches Joe Judge and Mark Colombo got into a fist fight this morning. Punches thrown. I'm told Colombo got the better of him and Judge fired him instantly. So Joe Judge comes in from New England, and he decides to be this big football guy, makes the coaches run laps when they mess up, like tapes tennis balls to DB's hands so they don't hold in practice, all this stuff, and then he gets the shit beaten out of him by someone who works for him, and then just fires him.
Yeah.
That's just overall bitch move, clown move. So I mean, it's just not much more to say about it.
Would have won the fight when you fired him?
No, that's the thing. He wouldn't have. Yeah, so that's particularly why I put him in my clown of the week. Yeah, not much more to say about it.
Yeah, Joe Judge, I mean, people really wondered why he was hired.
Yeah.
He's, that was a very strange hire. The New York Giants have been one of the best franchises over the last 40 years, but they've made some really curious decisions of late. So I don't know. Maybe they're on the downside.
Since Coughlin, really. I mean, it's been pretty rough.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Let's move into our players of the week. Do you have yours ready?
Yeah, so I'm gonna. I kind of keep doing the same thing over and over again. I'm just gonna ride this until it hits. But so, I think, the let Russ cook thing. It's almost a joke now.
Mm-hmm.
I think this week, it's gonna be more like, let's let him use the microwave.
Yeah.
Let's let him heat some shit up.
Yeah.
So I think you're gonna see, and it sounds like Chris Carson's probably out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see about that. But I think Carlos Hyde is gonna have a really big game tonight.
Okay. Yeah.
And that will help. That will help Russ, heat some shit up. So I think he's gonna have a good game, but not a 5 TD game for Russ. But he has a good solid game, gets back on track. But I think establish the run, baby.
Establish the run or establish the Russ. Pick your poison. But yeah, I like that pick for sure. And I hope he kills it tonight. But my player is going to be the boy, Jameis Winston.
Wow.
Going against the Falcons. Jameis, I think this is a Jameis game. I think it's got Jameis written all over it.
Is he going to be the player of the week for the Falcons? Or
And I'm not saying
throw touchdowns.
I'm not saying I'm hedging my bet. So either way, it's good.
He's going to throw touchdowns to somebody.
Yeah.
Still know which team.
Yeah, I think Jameis, he looks good. He looks trim. I think he's going to come out and with Sean Payton's mind, he will. Yeah, I think he'll carve out the Falcons and have a game that makes us question, should a team go out and try to get him next year? Should they sign him, pay him?
And maybe it'll be the Saints. Who knows?
That's the thing. Because I mean, at this point, it almost looks like a guarantee that Drew Brees isn't going to play next year.
Kind of looks that way.
So
a lot of people, he signed a 2-year deal, but a lot of people speculated that was more for the salary cap.
Yeah.
It's hard to sign a 1-year deal because it all goes on that cap.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to win this year, you want to keep pushing that money forward and forward and forward.
And the Saints have done some cap gymnastics. I mean, it's pretty crazy how they've gotten their situation to work. But
and Jameis, I think I mentioned this to you. He comes in the game, and I was like, "Who's that?" But it was because I looked at him and I didn't recognize him.
Yeah,
like his face looked thinner.
Yeah, he definitely looks a lot thinner.
He looks like a different guy to me.
Yeah.
So that to me tells me that he wants it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he realizes that he's not the shit and he's not just happy with being the number 1 pick in the draft, that he wants to try to turn it around. Will he be able to? We don't know.
Right.
But he obviously, took it to heart when he got cut or let go by Tampa Bay. So he's making the most of this opportunity. So I like to see that, even though I think he's a little bit of a, Maybe he's a rapist, stole some crab legs,
Oh yeah, I forgot about
did all that shit.
Yeah.
So I don't root for the guy, but I always root for somebody to turn their life around. Like
Yeah.
I don't root for him to, rape more people. You know, you know what I mean? Like some
That
people,
probably goes without being said, but yeah, no, I'm with you there.
Like-
I'm with you there.
when Donald Trump got elected, people wanted him to fail. I didn't want him to fail.
Yeah, you want the country to be
I hope
worse?
he became a different guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope he was. I hoped he was gonna be
I hope
awesome.
he like shed his skin and
Yeah.
like the lizard human came out.
I don't root for people to be to suck. Like
No.
that's not what I want to
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
So I hope he's has become a better person and,
Yeah.
and a better football player.
for sure. And he is my player of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there.
So, all right, let's move into our locks. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
So I'm gonna go with the over on the Packers Colts.
Interesting.
The number that I'm looking at right now is 51.5.
Okay. Let's see. I think interesting. Okay.
Not a big
Okay.
fan of that one, huh?
Okay. I see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am actually, my lock is also coming from that game.
Uh-oh.
I'm taking, I placed a bet of Packers +1. ESPN has Indy -2, so I'm taking Packers +2 for my lock of the week.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
It's
my
1.5 on that one site that I'm looking at.
the one site, yeah, the one site, yeah. So that's how I had. Hey, how the fuck you doing?
How you doing, man?
How the fuck you doing? It's yeah, no, I had it at 1.5 too, actually, for that. But ESPN has them at 2, so I'm just gonna
You want your
give myself the 2 for the lock of the week at least. So yeah, Packers +2, give me that. I think they're gonna win this game, so I'm taking that all day. Yeah. Do you got anything else?
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Fuck
got-
Howard Schultz.
Oh, what do you think is gonna happen tonight?
Oh shit, yeah. I don't know how we didn't. Okay, so we got
fuck Howard Schultz.
fuck Howard Schultz.
Yeah.
Go Dogs.
That happens every night.
All right, so we got obviously the Seahawks Cardinals. Seahawks -3.
That seems a little weird.
It's
to
such
me.
a shit show of a bet. Like
Yeah.
I really just don't know.
It's one of these things. So momentum in sports is an interesting thing. So if the Cardinals don't get that amazing play at the end of the game, then they're sitting there at 5-4, and they're an afterthought still. But they hit that amazing play, and they're 6-3, and they're listed at the top of the division right now.
And just the Seahawks have come off three out of the last 4 games have been dog shit. So.
Yeah. And obviously the Cardinals beat them recently. The Cardinals never led in that game.
Yeah.
Until the game was over.
Yeah.
That's when they led, right when it ended. So I don't know. I think the Seahawks will win this game. I don't know that I love the 3 points. It might maybe be closer than that. I'm a little surprised the Seahawks are favored.
I am
honestly.
too. Yeah, I am too.
You would think that line. I thought the line might come down because people would ride the Cardinals win.
I'm still unaware of how much home field affects the lines. Because if it's still 3 points, then it's a flat line. But that's still, I don't know.
I've heard that it's like the bookies are not factoring the fans in at all. Like if it's a home game, it's a home game pretty much.
All right. I mean,
that's kind of how they're playing it. So, and that's true in a lot of places. I think in Seattle, if we had fans there, I would feel a lot better about -3.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
So I don't know. We'll see. I do think that they're gonna. Here's what I hope will happen. I hope that again let Russ heat stuff up in the microwave.
Yeah.
That's the new phrase, by the way. It's gonna catch on Twitter.
Let Russ
Hashtag.
Let Russ preheat.
Yeah. I hope that they will run more, but still pass some on early downs. Like I want there to be a mix. I feel like they let him turn up the heat too much.
Yeah.
They let Russ doesn't need to cook the whole meal.
Yeah.
Let him cook the entree.
Mm-hmm. He needs a sous chef.
Yeah. Yeah, so you got to have some running game, and some of that is they didn't have a running back. They had a fourth-round pick, Travis Homer, who barely, I don't even know if he should be in the league. And then you have a guy that's been out of the league for 2 years. So those were your running backs.
Yeah.
So, I think it'll be, you have more balance when you get your boys back. I mean, they have a potential not tonight, but next week, they could have Carlos Hyde, who's probably already back. They could have Chris Carson. He's likely to be back. And I'm hearing that Penny could even be back.
That'd be awesome.
So they could go from DJ Dallas, Alex Collins, and Travis Homer to Carson, Penny, and Hyde.
Yeah,
like
that'd be
that's
great.
a little bit of an upgrade.
That'd be great.
So I hope that happens because I think that's been a bigger problem than people have wanted to admit the last few weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, by the way, for my pick in this game, I would take the Seahawks straight up. I wouldn't touch this -3 with I wouldn't touch it with my money at all. So, if I were to have to bet on this, I would probably take the Seahawks just cause. But, I'm not confident in that at all.
No.
Either way, like if I took that bet either way, I would feel like I was wrong right when I hit like pay or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's what Vegas loves, by the way. They want people playing both sides. But yeah, this is obviously I think we talked about it before, but this game is huge. It isn't technically a must win, but it feels like it.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Like you
if you lose it, you're probably still going to go to the playoffs, but you can forget about the division probably. The psyche of this town, I just can't
Yeah.
We're going to be so in the dumps if they lose this game tonight because that'll be 4 out of 5. They feel like frauds. So this is a big of a regular season game in the middle of a season as you can have.
Yeah. All right. You got anything else?
That's it. Go Hawks, go Huskies.
Yeah, go Hawks, go Dogs,
Schultz.
fuck Howard Schultz, bring him back. All the usual shit.
Yeah.
If you made it this far, thank you very much. You're dope. You're crazy. Ebook on Amazon, hardcover on Lulu. Follow us on Twitter at Mason Charles Coe, at Aaron Coe 29. Subscribe. The percent's going up, but it's still not at 100, so that's some bullshit.
Do it now.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and peace out.
See ya.